The opinions voiced in this podcast are for general information only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a decision. Today's guest and their company are not affiliated with or endorsed by LPL Financial. Do you mind introducing yourself and telling me about what your role is at Chike?
Sure. So I'm Jama, and I am the project manager at Chike Nutrition.
Okay, so what does that entail?
A little bit of everything. My nickname is Chike Mom, which is my favorite, and so I just remind people of what we need to be doing all the time.
Okay.
Along with, we all wear multiple hats, so that's one of my jobs.
So do you mind telling me a little bit about how Chike got started, how the brand developed, how the business got going?
Kind of started out. So Chike is a Nigerian word, and it means strength and power of God,
Okay.
which is so appropriate because it's a nutrition company. And I think one of the owners stumbled across the name. They were just kind of Googling, some buzzwords that mean strength and power, and they really liked that one, and so it stuck. And then they had somebody design the logo, and a fun fact, if you turn the logo on its side, it resembles a power button, which was unintentional.
Really?
But it's really sweet, very serendipitous.
That's super cool. So how did the business start?
So it started with meal replacements in 2007. So there are two founders, Jason Hodges and Remy Singh. And Jason was working with an oncologist for a meal replacement, and it tasted like a milkshake. And so, like most business owners, he was like, we have this great product. They took it to some distributors. Some of their vendors said, no, you need to, how are you going to be different? And they're like, it tastes really good. And they said, everybody says that about their product. You've got to be distinct. You've got to stand out. So that's how it started, as a meal replacement. And then back in, I think it was 2012, they decided the frappuccino craze was really hot. And they were like, ooh, how can we capitalize on this? How can we take coffee, milk, and sugar and make it nutritious? And so they played around for about 3.5 years, and finally got a formula that tasted really good and was nutritious. Remy, one of the owners, said that they did side-by-sides. Remember when Pepsi and Coke had the taste test, the blind taste test? And he said it didn't work at first. People were like, this is terrible. But after 3.5 years, they finally found a formula that was really good and healthier. And Remy knew that packaging would be really important, because on a shelf it needs to speak for itself. And so we have a great designer, and she created some beautiful packaging for us. And so they took that back to the buyers, and the buyers said, okay, this is going to work. And so when I started in 2023, we were in, I think, 3,500 stores. And now, fast forward 2.5 years, we're in over 13,000.
Wow.
So
that's tremendous growth.
It's tremendous. We're seeing about 200% growth year after year.
I would also imagine a lot of businesses that are trying to get, like, their fledglings, they're just starting to get going, and the first time they run into a roadblock where, hey, you need to go back, reformulate, hey, you need to go back and change something, I would imagine a really high amount of businesses just kind of end right there at the first block or the first few. And so it's amazing that they were able to kind of keep that going for so long before really seeing a lot of that kind of really developing. So
well, it was really a passion project, because Remy said it took a lot. They had a formulator, but as far as the components that made it super successful, it was a lot of trial and error. So they finally found something that worked.
Awesome. Okay. So kind of compared to what they were seeing in the early days versus what they're dealing with now, what do you think were some of the pivotal moments that kind of helped launch them to what's really stimulated some of that growth here in the last few years?
Well, even 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, if you were to try any protein, anything, whether it was a drink or a bar, it would have kind of a chalky taste, and they never wanted to compromise taste. And so that's what took so long. And Chike really has a good flavor. It doesn't taste like your typical protein drink.
Right. So you think it was simply the taste, like the formula that they've been able to develop at this point has really just kind of launched them versus their competitors?
Right.
Okay.
Because we may not have the brand awareness, but we know that we have a product that's really delicious and better for you.
Yeah. So you guys also don't just market or create your own products. You also do a lot of synthesis and packaging for other protein brands. Like, how did that side business become part of the main strategy?
So for about 4 years, they had a co-manufacturer, and they knew if they wanted to control the quality that they would have to manufacture themselves. And Remy was telling me, he said, people told us we were crazy, that it takes a lot of time and money and expertise, and they knew nothing about manufacturing, but they had passion and they were determined. And so they have basically built this business themselves. They've learned the trade, and the manufacturer was born, I believe, in 2016, Next Level Nutraceuticals. And then we have about half a dozen other customers that we blend for as well. We co-man with them, and so that's been really a sweet partnership.
Yeah, it's amazing. About how much of the business would you say is kind of stimulated or grown by that?
Well, I would say when I started, it was a larger percentage, but Chike is rapidly growing. So a major percentage of what we manufacture is Chike at this point.
Really?
We still manufacture. We have one customer that's very well known, and we ship their product to over 70 countries worldwide. And so we'll continue to keep those partnerships and have other customers. But right now, Chike is taking a lot of our line time, which is a blessing.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when you think about growth in the next 3 to 5 years, what does that look like for Chike? Is it something along the lines of innovation? Is it more product lines? Is it more partner deals and co-manufacturing? How do you, in your company, typically look at how you're wanting to grow and what tells you?
All of the above. We're always looking to innovate. We have a lab within our facility, and so we're always trying to find new ways to be different and to stand out. But I would say one of the things that is so sweet to me, and a big reason why I joined the Chike family, is because the owners really believe in investing in the people, the employees, our customers. That's really important. We say empower your potential, and that can mean a lot of things. And so investing in our colleagues is really, really important.
That's awesome. How are they trying to maintain the identity or culture at Chike? I feel like for such a large company right here in Abilene, most people don't really understand the culture or really what's happening inside of that business. So as you guys think about what you want your identity or your culture to be, and how do you keep it that way as you guys are growing?
Being purposeful in our work. Jason, one of the owners, he says all the time, we make a really good product, but if we're not about people, then what is our purpose? And that really resonated with me when I made the career change to join Chike, because they do invest in the people and our employees and their development, not just as an employee, but as a human being. And so that's ever growing. When I started, we had, I think, 53 employees, and now we're up to almost 120. So my hope is that we're attracting people to our business, that we're doing something that is meaningful.
Yeah. When I usually think about like a manufacturing plant, when I think about kind of like, I think of loud, I think of a lot of chaos kind of going through. And when we walked through, it was the most calm, inviting environment, and I was just kind of shocked the entire time. Like, it was just kind of a way of like everyone was just kind of going around, palling about. Everyone knows each other really well. Felt very kind of family friendly almost. Like you guys have just a special relationship there. So it was really cool and a little bit unexpected, because I was thinking something a little bit more, I don't know, let's get these orders out. And like, it was just so streamlined and just kind of, I don't know, it was a really cool experience that I really appreciated.
I'll pass that along. We are like family, for better or for worse. I mean, we have our moments just like any family, but we have, I think, been very intentional from a leadership standpoint of trying to instill trust in our employees. And the owners are so generous. They're so generous. They provide perks for the employees year round. So we have a chiropractor that comes in twice a month, and she watches how they move, because there's a lot of repetitive movement, and so they care about the employees and how they respond to the work that they're doing. They provide fresh fruit at the beginning of each week, and breakfast every Wednesday, and we try to do things as a team.
Yeah.
And kind of cultivate that community within the building. So
yeah, it's amazing. It's really cool. Okay, so you guys are in this protein category that maybe 5 or 10 years ago was starting to get popular, but now it's everywhere.
It's exploding.
You can make sure that you get your spaghetti noodles with more
Yes,
protein. Everything has a
Yes.
protein label on it. As that market becomes more and more competitive, how do you guys stand out even more so than just being the coffee protein brand?
Well, our owners are also deeply spiritual people, and so a lot of it's just faith.
Yeah.
They have talked about how there have been situations in the development of the company that make absolutely no sense. From a financial standpoint, from just decisions that have been made and situations that have happened that can only be explained through a higher power. And so I believe that the faith that they have and just their determination to succeed is going to keep us successful.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There we go. What are some trends that you guys see in that market, and what do you think that you guys want to jump into versus what do you think is going to kind of fall by the wayside?
That's a really good question, and I wish I had a really good answer. It's evolving and it's happening so rapidly, so quickly. We want to stay relevant, but I believe that we have a product that doesn't compromise in taste and quality, and so hopefully that will sustain us.
Okay.
But right now, we're sticking with the beverages.
Okay. You're not going to start slapping protein labels
It's-
on broccoli
not yet.
Yeah.
We're not going to roll anything out, but right now it's just the beverages.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. You guys are a national brand at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and you're headquartered in Abilene. How would you say that growing within kind of the Abilene area and choosing that as the headquarters or where they're kind of really growing this brand, how do you think that may have been different than maybe a more developed or established market?
Mm-hmm. I have witnessed a lot of support from the DCOA and the chamber. It has a small town feel, and so there have been a lot of connections that have been made through the business and because of the business, and so we have felt very supported being in Abilene.
Yeah. So I kind of feel like with a lot of the AI stuff, with a lot of the things that are in the headlines, there's like this weird overshadow of like Abilene kind of on a national scale became kind of an overnight success situation, but they weren't paying attention to the last 15 or 20 years to how Abilene has grown. And I kind of feel like Chike is one of those brands that's been just quietly building in the background and kind of showing how business in Abilene is changing. Outside of it, do you kind of agree, or do you think that, I don't know, do you think that we are pretty much just the overnight, like, oh, we're just the AI center now?
Yeah. My hope is that we benefit from this awareness, because it has been crazy, just the amount of people that we've attracted to our city because of these new businesses. But I would like to think that maybe in some ways we could ride on their coattails. It's not just AI in Abilene. We have a lot of really good businesses here as well.
How has some of the local community influenced the business, would you say?
Well, like I said, with the chamber and the DCOA, we feel really supported, and they have really helped create visibility for us as well, networking opportunities. Abilene has been a good place, I think, to establish the business.
Yeah. How would marketing kind of key into the way that you guys are growing? You kind of talked about brand awareness a little bit ago, but just how does the marketing look for growing a business like yours in today's world?
Mm-hmm. Well, marketing is a huge part. We have a great marketing team where I think you could ask any director of marketing and they'd say we need more people, to create more awareness. We don't have the kind of budget that some bigger brands have to bring on, spokesperson. Right. Someday, but right now that hasn't been, an opportunity for us. So with the 3 universities in town, we utilize a lot of those students as interns, and that's been a great partnership as well.
So maybe it's not so much how Appling has necessarily affected you guys, but I guess maybe I should be asking is how are you affecting Appling? And so if you're able to kind of tie into and give university students kind of real world kind of perspectives, are there any other initiatives or things that you guys are a part of here in Appling?
We are very passionate about giving back to the community. One of the greatest things that I believe Chike is involved in locally is Chike Gives. So you've heard of Abilene Gives, and different organizations they have a variation of this, but we give a certain amount of money to different nonprofits every month, and we want to cultivate a culture of giving back. And so a lot of our employees sit on a committee each month, and they nominate the next committee, and they determine which nonprofit will be the recipient of Chike Gives. And then we invite that nonprofit to our facility so that they can present like a big check to them. And we learn more about that. What I'd like to see is for our people to get involved and volunteer for these different nonprofits as well. So it's growing, but it's one of my favorite things about Chike.
That's super cool. Are there any initiatives or things here in town that you participate in outside of donations?
Yes, so Care Pack for Kids, we've adopted one of the local elementary schools, and once every, 2 months, we'll spend about 45 minutes as a team, both the brand side and the manufacturing side, and we build care packs. Wow. And then we deliver them to the elementary school, and so that has been really great. And then we participated in the Alzheimer's Association walk, and it supports the nonprofits, but it also kind of cultivates teamwork, and our company culture, it enhances that as well.
Wonderful. So I have a couple questions about you specifically.
Okay.
Obviously this is a newer career for you. Where were you before?
So I was at ACU for 25 years. I love ACU, go Wildcats. And thought I would retire with the university. I love the work that I did there in alumni relations, but I just, from a personal standpoint, wanted a growth opportunity. I wanted to learn something new, and you've heard the old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I've tested that. So at the age of 48, I took a huge risk and tried something completely different. Yeah. And I haven't looked back once. It's been a true blessing, and I'm thankful that Jason and Remy believed in me. And when I interviewed with them, they said, I said, I'm going to be really transparent. I have zero industry knowledge. And they said, we'll teach you everything you need to know. And they have. And so I still have a lot to learn, but it's been a great journey.
Wow. How did you get connected with Chike?
Networking. I had heard about Chike. Ironically, I'd only heard about them a couple of times. And, ACU is very close to Chike's office. And so a friend of mine took a job with Chike and just would always talk about how he loved working there, and I said, well, tell me more. And anyway, that conversation kind of turned into a full-time career.
Wow. And
what's really sweet is our former COO, he and I went to ACU together, so there were some ACU connections.
Of course,
initially, yeah.
That's awesome. What do you think was kind of a mindset shift that you had to do with trying something so new and so different?
I think limiting beliefs. Okay. I'd done the same thing for so long and exercised the same muscles for so long, so I had skills that were transferable, but then I was getting to use and develop skills that I hadn't either used or developed before, and so it was a challenge, but it turned out to be a real blessing.
Wow. Yeah, I would kind of imagine 25 years in anything,
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know, it's just a lot of thinking, this is it. This
Yeah.
is the thing that I can do. I will finish here, and I will be
Right.
just keep going with the flow. And that flow has been going for quite a while.
It has.
At
My
that
friends
point.
were like, "You are just crazy for doing this."
Right.
But you know,
Was anyone like stopping you like, hey, is
are
everything
you
okay?
sure?
Yeah,
Yeah,
are
midlife
you
crisis.
Yeah, right.
I mean, for real. But I
Yeah.
thought, I don't want to live my life on autopilot. You know,
Yeah.
the sweetest thing about my first career were the relationships I cultivated. They're such huge blessings in my life. But as far as developing skills, I wanted more, and so Chike has definitely provided those.
That's awesome. If you were kind of talking to anyone who's thinking about making a big change in their life like that, what would you kind of tell that person?
I would say do it. You always hear no risk, no reward, but there's so much truth in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've made new friendships, I've learned new skills. You know, the blessings just keep coming.
That's awesome.
It's been hard. It hasn't always been easy, but it's been worth
Yeah.
it.
Kind of back to business. How do you guys think about innovation? Does it come from customer reviews? Does it come from you guys there at the headquarters saying, hey, why don't we go ahead and try this? Where do you guys get a lot of your inspiration?
Really, we listen to our customers. Our marketing team does a really good job of surveying our customers to find out, like, what do you like? We do taste tests, we send out samples, and we use that feedback. We listen to what they have to say, and that influences our decisions. We, you know, at the end of the day, it's still going to be a decision that the owners make, but they really value the customer's input, and that's been great to see.
Awesome. So which flavor have you created?
I have not created one,
Okay.
but I will tell
Have you
you,
pitched
I've
any?
helped influence some.
Okay.
I like a stronger coffee, so we have a triple shot, and I really can't take any credit for that. I sit
Okay.
on a team that helps with the formulation, like we taste test.
Yeah.
So I give my opinion.
Okay.
But there have been some flavors, like our plant-based. I love our plant-based. So I wouldn't say that I've developed any, but I've been able to be a part of the process.
I would just imagine at a certain point, you're like on a weekend, you're eating something at like an incredible restaurant, like, I gotta take the leftovers because they have to taste this and I'm gonna need to
And
eat
it's
this.
so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I have a really good friend, and she's always pitching ideas. She's
Oh,
like,
really?
here, this would be a really good flavor.
Sure.
So
Carrot cake is happening.
Carrot
guys.
cake is not happening.
Carrot cake's never
It's
happening.
never happening.
It really tastes like cream cheese icing. This is wild. Yeah. Okay, so what kind of impact do you guys hope that your company will make? Not necessarily as like hitting numbers, but
Mhm.
kind of just like what differences are you hoping that the company makes?
Yeah,
in the
I think
community?
it goes back to the people. Like,
Yeah.
we want to make a difference. Our owners would say a kingdom difference. Like, we want to transform lives, not just with our customers, but our people, our employees. We want to pour into them in many ways, and we're a second chance employer. And so it's been really beautiful to see people who have come from, in many ways, hard knocks or
Yeah.
really tough situations, to transform into some of our like best employees. And they help us grow, they help us become better. And so I would say definitely developing our employees and supporting them and adding value to their lives.
Awesome. So this could be personal, it can be on the business side, however you choose to kind of go with this. What is something that you are excited about right now?
I love people, that's my passion, and so for me, creating a company culture where everybody feels excited to come to work, where they feel like even if they do the same movement every day in the line, that they feel valued and that they know that their part is huge in our success.
Wow. So what is something that you are working on right now?
I would say for me, just my wellness journey, I am more conscious of it, of course, working for a nutrition company, but just really becoming more self-disciplined when it comes to taking care of myself and my body.
That's awesome. And what is something that you're hoping for?
For my clothes to fit better.
Not necessarily not connected.
Yeah, I'm not. But I would say just strength. I've been working to just build, this sounds so vain, but
No.
to build more muscle and to just be the healthiest version, and to also have better habits that my kids can witness. Being disciplined about taking care of myself. And not just physically, I mean mentally and emotionally too.
Oh, awesome. So where can people find Chike? Where can they interact with you guys?
So you can go to chike.com, or we're in United, we're in HEB. We have one of our flavors in Sam's. And so I would say Amazon, I would say the best would be chike.com because you can get all the flavors.
Gotcha. Are you guys on social media? I'm assuming?
We are Instagram, TikTok, Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you.